Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Art and Business of Writing podcast. I am your host, Chris Jones, where we focus on helping you to write efficiently and market effectively. Today, I'm excited. And I think if you know me, you know that I really geek out over the marketing side of writing because I love the challenge of seeing, how far can we push it? What can we do to really get our names out there? What can we do to really sell more books? What can we do to really build our influence as authors? And my guest today really focuses on that. He's going to drop a lot of gems for you about landing pages and what needs to go on your book landing page. If you've never thought about having a book landing page, you may want to consider one after this episode. He's also going to be talking about the difference between Facebook ads and Google ads and which one he prefers. And then he's also going to dive into reputation management because that's part of his core competencies. He's going to talk about how you can really control what kind of reviews you get. So basically, he's going to talk to you about how to get positive reviews on the site and keep those positive reviews flowing. But when you get negative reviews, what you need to do with those. So you're really going to be excited to hear from Ajay today. Ajay is a serial entrepreneur and founder of GMR Web Team, GMR Transcription and RepuGen. Ajay has years of marketing experience as well as helping small businesses grow to their fullest potential. Ajay has previously worked in executive positions for Fortune 10 companies and continues to craft a name for himself by building online businesses from the ground up. So without further ado, let me bring you Ajay Prasad. Hello, Ajay. Welcome to the Art and Business of Writing podcast. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. How are you, Chris?
Doing great. So expand a little bit on your bio and talk about kind of how you got into digital marketing.
Yeah, so I started my career and most of my life I was in marketing profession. I started with really doing marketing for very large corporation. I was very fortunate once to move up very quickly as head of vice president of marketing strategy at a very early stage after a few years in corporate life. And I have spent most of my corporate career in marketing or in management, like either head of the product or the CEO of the companies. So essentially my foundation is marketing and strategy. So that is my foundation. And now it is 13 years back, so time flies. But when I decided to go on my own, marketing was very natural for me, but I opted for digital because having paid my dues for large corporations, I had decided that I'm going to be focused on the smaller businesses for my services. And digital marketing at that time, actually no one was even offering it to small businesses. Everyone was, and part of the reason was that small businesses did not understand the need for digital marketing. So that's what happened. I was always in marketing and strategy, and when finally I decided to go on my own, I just decided to focus on digital marketing because that was, you can say, the unmet need at that time.
Right. So which aspect of digital marketing did you begin to learn when you started to transition?
So just to give you a quick background, so one of my 6-7 jobs that I had in my previous life was the CEO of a .com company that was the .com boom back in late 90s. And so I was very, you can say, among the very early learner among I would say the old style marketers to understand the power of internet and where it is going. So I knew that. So when I first started, actually, the search, there was only two things that you could do. Of course, people needed website, which, believe it or not, most of the small businesses did not even think that they needed a website. They would say, why do I need a website? I already have a brochure. And then the only other thing that somewhat worked was the paid advertising on Google. So I started with of course, the website design. So I built a team of, I'm not a programmer. Now you know that I'm only a marketer. So I hired a graphic designer and a programmer, just two people, and started with that, my services. And then I was managing the paid advertising at that time. So that's where I started.
Wow. So what was that transition like for you going from traditional marketing into the digital space? What was the learning curve for you?
So my biggest learning curve actually was that no one believed in digital marketing at that time. So so that was a really, you can say, a rude awakening for me, which meant that I had to go and give talks and explain to people why they needed marketing. The other thing that was very interesting actually about digital, which I loved, is as I told you, my foundation was strategy, market research, marketing. So I am fairly data driven. And in marketing, when I was managing TV advertising, for that matter, radio advertising, it was very typical, like where you would know that it is working or not working, of course, from the results of the sales. But it was very difficult to pinpoint why something is not working. In digital, everything became so crystal clear. So one thing was the tracking in how much money you have spent, what worked, what did not work, what's the return on investment. It is so easy to see. So that was a big learning curve for me, is to when the realization that any activity, any money that I'm spending, I know where it is going, what kind of return it happened, and what worked and what did not work.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely think that's the biggest shift that's happening right now. I was working in print for a long time in editing, and
Hmm.
just over the last year, I've seen a lot of advertisers abandon print to go digital because digital has so much data.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
where it's going, you know who to target, you know how to target it. So basically, you can pinpoint exactly where you want your advertising to go.
I will
And
tell you, when I was I was head of strategy for a restaurant chain. It was my dream to be able to target like one customer at a time in our marketing. Most of the marketing was on TV, right? And or print or radio. And this was my dream, that I can just pinpoint exactly who my customer is, and I can go literally at one at a time if I needed. And of course, now email marketing lets you do that. Exactly the same thing. So, yes, it has been a really, this change is very welcome in marketing.
yeah, now before we go too deep, now I want you, just for our audience, define what digital marketing is and what digital marketing is not.
Okay. So anything that when you are using internet to generate your business electronically, so whether it's internet, and I am, for the sake of this discussion, I'm adding email as part of internet, because obviously without internet there won't be any email. So when you are using the internet for any marketing, you can say it is digital. And then traditional marketing will be your TV, radio, print. That would be the traditional marketing.
Okay. Now, which aspects of digital marketing do you really work in the most?
We have totally evolved as the digital marketing has evolved. So, we started offering search engine optimization very quickly, as early as I think 2007, when we realized that, now that works, search engine optimization. In about 2010-11, we started to offer, social media marketing. Of course, throughout, we just totally evolved with the latest trends of website design. So we have always kept on top of it. Now, of course, mobile is becoming a very big. So mobile marketing, we have a specific strategy. The video has come to life. So of course now, video marketing. So I have a team of 5 people who are like, who does video animation and all. And then now reputation is become really huge. So we are not only, we have been managing reputation for our clients, but now we have even developed our own software to help them gauge customer satisfaction and get reviews and everything. So as this has evolved, we have also evolved. And typically, for our customers, we are their digital marketing agencies. You can think of it as we are their digital marketing department. So we do everything for them, for our clients typically. Now we have some significant clients, I would say, for who we are only doing reputation management, because we have a software, and it is online reputation is becoming so important that, of course, now people are coming to us and say, we are okay with everything, but we need reputation management. So again, most of my clients, everything we are doing digital. what we do is when the client comes in, we take a look at their business. We come up with the best strategy for digital marketing. So it may be doing. Everyone should do SEO is my attitude. But is paid advertising makes sense? If something is a very low profit margin, then it may not make sense to do paid advertising. Does social media make sense? If it does, what platform social media? So what we do is we do analysis, we come up with a recommendation in terms of what they should be doing, and then we execute it.
Okay. Now you talked a little bit about reputation management. What exactly is reputation management, and why does it matter?
So nowadays, when the latest research that data that I have, which is a national research, it suggests that 92% of the customers, before they make any decision to buy from a company, either brick and mortar or online, but especially online, any purchase, they go and they check their reputation. And the reputation is a couple of things. Of course, you have reviews on the review sites like Yelp and Google, and depending on your business, for medical industry, you have health grades and vitals and all that, right? So that is one thing they want. And then they also go and try to find out about you, what is written about you. So for example, if you are a dentist and you had some poor experience, and any profession, you make some mistake, and if someone made a big deal out of it and it shows up on the website, now it looks like, so you had seen 10,000 patients and one patient had some complication. But if you look at the online and find that dentist, looks like that is all the dentist does. Is the big news you get is that how he or she is screwed up. So you need to bring that into balance. It will be there. So what we do is we just want to make sure that there is good news and bad news. So depending, again, we literally have to have a strategy, but everyone needs review now, no matter what business you are in. So what we did is we created a whole platform where, totally automated platform for generating reviews, for our clients. And then in the process, because we get a lot of customer feedback, essentially what we do is we first ask them about their level of satisfaction. And then once who says, I'm really satisfied, then we request them to go and write a review. So what happens that we start getting a lot of positive reviews, and then their comments, we do the analysis so they can see if someone is unhappy, why they're unhappy, if someone is happy. So we do all that analysis to help with the operations. Now, one thing I will tell you about reputation is typical. If you look at reviews of any business, generally it is understated. In other words, if it gives 3 stars, the chances are that there should be 4.2 star. And the reason for this is that unhappy people are more likely to go and write reviews than way more, like 10 times more likely than happy people. And by the way, we knew that even in the offline world. When I was in the restaurant industry, we used to tell our managers all the time that, listen, one happy customer will maybe tell another person that, I went to this restaurant, had a great experience. One unhappy customer will tell at least 15 people that they run into, don't go to that restaurant. And the same emotion, it drives also the writing reviews so when you go to a restaurant and you have a good experience, the chances are that you're not going to, chomping at your bits to go and write great thing about this restaurant. And even if you have intentions to do that, you may forget about it by the time you reach home. But if you are fuming when you come out, guess what? You're not going to forget it until you go and write and vent. So that is part of the problem with the review sites like Yelp, is it really understates the performance of most of the businesses.
Wow. No, that's very true, though. It's very true that people always look to leave that negative review, when we're in that moment.
Correct.
Yeah. No, when I think about like authors, because authors need digital marketing, but even the reputation management is very big for authors because of where the reviews land. I mean, for authors, it's Goodreads,
exactly,
it's Barnes
right.
and Noble, it's Amazon, it's Kobo, it's Smashwords, all these different places where people can leave reviews to find out about your book, which also equates to book sales.
Exactly. So you see, this is the reason what we did is we created a platform where we drive happy patients, or I'm saying patient because we have a lot of doctor clients also, but the happy customers to the most relevant review sites for them. And the best thing is that the unhappy one gets a place to vent immediately, so they can vent to the company itself, and then the company now has a chance to go and recover that unhappy customer by contacting them back and touching base. Versus if I go out and I'm really unhappy, and you don't know that I'm unhappy, that you don't have any chance of getting me back, right? Because there's nothing you can do to get my business back.
Right. Now, here's a question. So if I go onto Amazon, or if I go onto Barnes & Noble or Goodreads, and I see someone left me, a less than desirable review for my book, like say my book, they left me a 2-star review, what's the best way to handle that? Because I mean, of course, you shouldn't delete it. I know that for sure. But what do you say is the best way to handle a negative review?
So the best way to review is the way that I have done it. The way I have managed for at least one of author client is that you give. So for example, I'll give you an idea what I did. So one of the author client wrote the book, and she told me that the best thing in terms of marketing, and I'm like, I don't know what marketing you can do other than the fact that you get a lot of feedbacks. And she was like, wow, that's an interesting idea. So what we did is we have some, that we found the right database. Nowadays you can get any database. You can go on Facebook and do that. And essentially we ask people for their feedback. So we said, okay, here's the book for you, and all I need for you is to read the book and give us a feedback. Okay. And when after you give the feedback, we will pay you $50. So really, I mean, it's nothing illegal. We are not asking to write review in order to pay. Just say, read the book and give me the feedback so that I can do whatever I can and do a revision. Now, of course, when I did this, we did not have the platform. So when they gave the good feedback, then we requested and said, hey, that's fantastic. Someone who was happy and said, do you mind writing it on Amazon? Someone who was not happy, then we just talked, or someone said, yeah, your book is nice, but there's no wow factor. Because that's one thing that I remember that popped up a lot with her, with that particular book. It's like, yeah, it is informative, it is nice, but there's no wow in here. So she got it. And I'm like, okay, do you want to revise the book? You want to redo it? I mean, it's totally your choice now. So you do it now with my platform. I can just have them write their comment on the platform itself, and then straightway direct them to Amazon. So, this process of asking happy customers to go and write review, we were doing it manually for 5 years now. It's like 2 years back, I just decided that I want to take this human factor out, because, some people are very comfortable asking people to go and write reviews. Some people are, shy, very reluctant. So I just wanted to take that human element out. And that's why we developed this software.
Right. So I guess it's a more effective way is to have them contact you with the reviews, and then you can screen out the ones you don't want to have actually
exactly.
go review.
And by the way, this platform that we have, that it does exactly that. So it screens out immediately. Essentially, this is how it works. It will ask you to rate on the scale of 0 to 10. Okay. So if you are 0 to 5, then we think it's a negative. So you get a message saying, we are really sorry, that you're not happy with our service or this book or whatever. Let me know where I can improve. Okay. So let them vent. If someone gives 6, 7, then we call them neutral. We don't know either they are going to be happy, unhappy, whatever. So we just thank them and say, give us the reason for your rating. And when someone is 8, 9, 10, we consider them as promoter, right? So now we ask them and say, that's the net promoter score, the scale that you have 0 to 10. So then we said, oh, thank you very much. We are always trying to keep people happy. Would you mind sharing your experience or, your opinion on any of the site? And if you say yes, when you click on it, then it gives you the option of which review site you can go and write.
That's very smart. That's a very great way So based on what I heard you say, just so I can regurgitate it for the audience. So when they write into you, the people who have the low scores, you use those basically as your research and development to figure out how to improve the product. And then the people who give you the middle scores, you don't bother with. And the people with the high scores are the ones you have write the reviews and really drive the marketing.
Exactly right. We try to convert them into our, advocates, as our promoter.
That's a great way to manage reputation and brand. I love that. So on the digital marketing side, what are some really easy starting points for an author to get their feet wet into digital marketing to promote their books?
So, I always suggest that you can always do version, right? 1, 2. So initially the best investment in terms of marketing is to put the book in the hands of whatever, depending on your budget, but do it at least 50. But I like it, this particular person that I did was 500 in their hands, and say, and you are honest because you are looking for the feedback, and just say, here's the book that I have published. It's on Amazon. Please, buy it and read it, and give me your feedback. Here's where you can give us your feedback. And then after that, when someone is really, if everyone is saying that this is a really amazing book, then you just direct them to share that, which is perfectly okay. But if they are saying, like I said, this particular person, it's like there's no wow. So if there's no wow, then here's what happens. Yeah, the book can be very useful, but again, it's not going to excite people to go and write a review about it, right? And so promoting it becomes very difficult. But if you have a wow factor in a book, like, it's amazing. I read a book last year from about the Nike, by the Nike founder Phil Knight. It's called Shoe Dog, and it was amazing. I must have mentioned this. I'm mentioning to you now. I've mentioned this to at least, I would say, 500 people. I'm like, hey, you want to see, how, you look at Nike and you feel like, hey, they are so successful. If you see what business goes through in order to be successful, you should read this. Because again, you see, most of my audience are entrepreneurs or, someone who on their own. And we always have a tendency to look at the success and say, wow, it is so fantastic where he has reached. But if we take a step back and we learn what he or she had to go through in order to get to where they are currently, that is the real learning, right? So that's where it helps.
Okay. And so now for authors who are just getting started and they've got their author website set up, do you recommend that they create a landing page for the book so that when people come to the website, that's the first thing they see?
Yes. What I suggest is have a landing page, and I would even add the first chapter, for example. Some enough pages to give them like a feel for what it is, what the book is, and so they can download it. And of course, in order to download, you capture the email address, and now you have a chance to get their feedback, right? So as you are even writing it, or before you finalize that, okay, let's publish it, now with the digital world, it becomes really easy for you to get the right people to come to the site, download the book, which is basically free. They just have to give you your email address and the name, and then get their feedback of where you are and what you want to do. So again, you start to make your own group that you're bouncing and getting their feedback as before you even publish. So yeah, definitely having a landing page and having part of the book available is a great starting point.
No, I like that, because whenever I go to a page, with an author and they've got a landing page, it's very enticing to me, and I'm automatically putting my name in the email box so that I can get more. So I was wondering, kind of what your take was on that. And what do you think makes for good landing page design? Like, are there certain elements that should be on a really good landing page?
Sure. So landing page has to, and this is true actually for home pages and everything. So customers, you essentially in 3 seconds or less, when they come to the site, they should know exactly what it's all about. Okay. So for any landing page, most important thing is what is your header, okay, the title. So the page title will already, when someone has gone there, it will verify whether they are on the right place or not, okay. And so the first thing is you have to have the title. Then you have to have what I call the subtitle, or a quick description, which could be, one line, two line. Essentially, just builds your expectation in terms of what it is all about, okay. And then you have a copy of the book, where you have the copy, and then of course call to action. So you have to have these four components. Now, in terms of how you design it, these days video, because a lot of people, as you know, they listen to, rather than listen to a 1 minute video, than read the description of what it is. So yes, these days landing pages having a video makes a lot of sense. Having a video on the left side, and right side you have some information, and then below that you have the text of the video. Again, it makes a lot of sense. So if you have video, next to it is information and call to action. Below that is the text, and below the text is again the call to action, which is, of course, download the free copy or whatever. You have to have that, or contact us, something. So that is becoming a very critical element of landing pages. So when we are doing paid advertising, for example, we create landing pages because, if someone types a very specific keyword like digital marketing, you don't want them to go to a page that says SEO, because they may not know that SEO and digital marketing is the same thing, or is it just SEO is a piece of digital marketing. So then they need to go to a page that says digital marketing for whatever business. You want to be as specific as possible, so that when I go there, I feel totally relevant. So, but now we have started adding videos on the landing pages, even for paid advertising, and we are seeing a higher conversion because of that. So definitely those are the elements that you have to have: is header, of course, copy. Have that copy in the video form also. The best thing is animated video or whiteboard animation, so that it is very clear. There's no confusion about that. And then call to action.
I'm glad you brought up video, because video has pretty much been imposing its will on us for the last couple of years, but really now, it's very much in a premium, with Facebook really going towards video and all the social platforms really putting a lot of emphasis on video. For a person who really can't for an author, not a person, but an author who really can't put a lot of money into a video, what can they do to make their video look good, but even though it doesn't have that kind of professional polish on it?
So first thing I'll tell you that, again, a lot of money is in the eye of beholder, right? So if you don't have, if the author doesn't have a couple of $1,000s, then of course you go in a very different route. But creating like a whiteboard animation is not that expensive. There are many freelancers who will do it, and you can get it done for, most probably like $50, $100 even. I'm not saying that, of course, to get that, then you have to know what you're doing. Right. If you go to an agency, like someone comes to me, of course, we charge $1,000 for 1 minute video. And then after that, in the same thing. So if it is 1.5, 1 minute and 30 seconds, then of course we charge $1,500. But then of course we understand strategy, and when we are creating the copy, it is really, so if you can write the copy, so for the video, so if you can write the script that really explains you well, the rest of the thing can be done very cheaply. There are a lot of freelancing sites right now, Fiverr and Elance and all that, where you can find people to do it for you. If you don't have that, then you probably need to go to, so if you don't have even $100, for example, then I would say if you search on Google, there are a slew of them. Now, of course, we don't use them. Like I told you, I already have a team of 5 people. All they do is create videos. And then I have a team of writers who are writing the scripts. So we don't use them. But there are a lot of those freewares available on the internet where you can go and create your own whiteboard animation. You can do the voiceover, and you can put the script, and it will do the animation part. And you know what I mean by whiteboard animation? It seems like it's writing on the on the board and someone is talking, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
voice is coming from the side. So
Yeah, I've seen
that
those. Those are
piece,
very cool.
yeah, and so that is, like I said, there are a lot of freeware. So someone who has absolutely no money, then I would say, yeah, there are a lot of do-it-yourself ideas there. The only thing that I will caution is if you do not have any money for marketing, the chances of success of the book is really 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 small, because as you probably see, even the really famous authors, when they write the book, they are on TV and they are all over, right, promoting the book. And because they know that if they don't promote, just being in the store is not going to sell as much.
Right.
Now, if you are not famous, then it is a much bigger challenge, right, to get in front of people who would even try it. So that's one thing that I know a lot of people who have written books, but they don't have money to promote, and it's kind of tragedy. But you can try some social media. You can, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it becomes very difficult.
Right. Now, you mentioned social media just now. What do you think about Facebook ads?
I was like a non-believer in Facebook ad for a long time, because we could not figure out how to get the return on investment. But now Facebook has gotten to a point where first everyone is there, and then you can target your customers as closely as you want, right? You can literally buy psychographics, demographics, whatever. And then if you have a right plan, so with the right landing page and everything, now we have started to see the conversion. So I am becoming a believer in the Facebook ads. It is still not same as Google, because remember, on Google people are searching for that service. So if I'm searching for a plumber and I see a plumber ad on Google, and I click to go to that page, of course the chance of my conversion is much higher than I'm just scrolling, getting all of a sudden in the news feed I see ad for plumber, and I tap it to go and see what the heck it is all about. So the challenge there for Facebook is that you have to make it very interesting for someone to want to come and visit, and then you have to have a very strong call to action. So when you are trying to build your base, your list, for example, Facebook seems to work very well. So if you want the business owners, suppose you are a business writer, you are writing a book on marketing, and you want marketing professionals to, it is targeted to marketing professional. And if you are trying to create a list so that when you launch the book, you can do an email campaign to them, Facebook works very well, because you can have an intriguing feed that they will tap to go into your landing page, and you have a very easy call to action. It's like, okay, give me your name and email address, we'll email you this product. So because there's no cost to them, that one thing, that Facebook is only showing that feed to exactly who you want your customer to be, who your prospects are. So for generating list, I have seen it work very well. In terms of and then of course once you have the list, you can do drip marketing. For even straight conversion, we are seeing decent success. It's not as scalable right now as Google, for example. So Google, for certain items, if it works, you can just explode it. And we have clients, and we are, by the way, Google partners also. So because we have been managing, and that was the first thing that I started doing. Now, of course, I have a team of experts who manage it, and we have clients who we started with $5,000 per month budget, and now they are spending $150,000, and still they are getting really good return on investment. Facebook typically is not that scalable, if you are trying to sell it directly. In terms of building the list, which is of course a very important piece of many marketing, it makes a lot of sense.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned that. So Facebook, you're saying, is really great for list building. What's the best way to encourage people to join your list? If you're an author, do you give away a book? Do you use a video? What do you think works best?
the best way is to give away something of value. I'm not saying the whole book. Maybe you are giving away, book summary or something, so that they feel like, oh, so I'm just throwing an example. Suppose you are writing a book on entrepreneurship, in terms of what you have to do, what's the typical journey that you can expect to go through if you are an entrepreneur. And so if you're writing a book like that, and if there's a 5-page summary, that I see that, and I because I'm an entrepreneur, remember, Facebook lets you do that. So I see that, I'm like, wow, this is interesting. And I tap it, and all I'm seeing is like, okay, I can get the book summary. And the summary tells me, so you build the right expectation and give them a good product, you will have a lot of conversion there. And then so basically you're building your list at the cost of maybe 10-15 cents, per list, per person, which is darn good, because I know of people who are very successful in the business that I'm not in there, but I've helped them in, by building a list and offering their services and product to them. And I know of people paying, on the average, like $3 per addition to the list. And once they had 10,000, because what happens that when you have a significant list, so you have a opt-in list of 50,000, all of a sudden you will have people coming out of woodwork with their own product and say, hey, would you offer it to your list, and I will split the sales. And I'm sure that this is a huge market. I'm not into it. I've helped some people in who are in that business. So if you can generate for 10-15 cents per person, very targeted list, and if you have 100,000, it is what, like $30,000 that has cost you, right? Or $15,000 or $20,000. And if you have an opt-in of 100,000, it is just amazing value, that you have, that you can probably use it to keep on adding to the list and then generate, pretty decent amount of money just by offering other people's product that will be valuable to them. So yeah, the list building is very interesting, and social media. And I'm not just saying this is the Facebook is the only one. Social media in general, lets you really narrow target who you want your audience to be. And then if you are doing it right, like the only thing I have done for someone who is building it is, of course, we created the landing page and we integrated the email, the opt-in, so that people are opting in, and we made it like literally double opt-in. You put there and you get a link, and then you click on the link, then because now you're double opting in, and then you get the summary book. But this was someone who wanted to start business of helping you how to write copy. And he used to charge $20,000 for like one long page of web copy. So obviously he was good, but he said, well, now I'm selling my hours. So he created like a program, and he needed people who were interested in his program, and he is charging $10,000 for the program, but he would teach 10 people at a time. So all of a sudden, his per hour income grew up very, just multiplied big time. And so he wanted to build the list of budding wannabe copywriters. And that's what we helped him, build the list. And then, of course, later on, he started marketing other people's product. At some point, what happens is these things start to roll on its own momentum. So we are no longer doing anything for them. But we did that 7-8 years back, and he's still in business. So obviously something worked for him. So yeah, the list building is a very interesting area. And now, thanks to social media, it is very inexpensive to build. This guy built it, and that's what I was saying, that he was $3. He built it through pay-per-click advertising. So essentially, It was like summary, all you need to do is to become a copywriter kind of thing. And his average conversion cost was $3 for someone who downloaded his book. But then, because he was financially well off, so I think he spent $35,000 initially to build the list. And then, of course, after that, he must have generated millions of dollars already from that.
Wow, that's a pretty inspiring story. And I know for if you scale that down for for people who are in the writing space who want to just get started with something small, you can build your list the exact same way. Just creating creating the ad, putting the money in.
Yeah, you have a list. You build a list of 1,000 people, and now all of a sudden, when you are ready, these people have already read your one paragraph. They have already given you feedback, right? And then when your book is published, all of a sudden you can again go back to them and offer them to just go and read the book and write a review. You're not saying write a good review. You're just saying write a review, and we will send you a gift certificate, and which is totally legitimate. So long you make it very clear in your communication, we are not asking you to write good. I just want honest reviews to write. Now, of course, if you use a platform like what we have created, RepuGen, then the platform automatically does it so that it asks only happy people to write reviews. But again, we never say, even the platform will never, we just don't encourage people to go and write, who are not happy, to go and write review, versus, so we just encourage. But it's not like when someone is saying, I'm giving you 0 on the scale of 0 to 10, we don't beg and say, please don't go and write reviews anywhere, because then that would be not correct.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. Because you always want to make sure you have the happy reviewers out there looking at your stuff and taking care of you. Very good. Very good. Well, AJ, I want to kind of bring us down for a landing with just some fun questions. How's that sound?
Sure. Fun is always good.
All right. So who are some digital marketers that who inspire you today still?
It's kind of interesting. The big digital marketers. I mean, I started following Seth Godin because he was when I decided to get into digital marketing business, I would buy any book that I could lay my hands on to get totally up to date on it. And he is still there, although he has become more of a business guru, seems like. And then there was this Matt Cutts, who was at Google actually, and I followed him very closely because, of course, SEO was so important, and I just wanted to understand how what Google is looking for to in order to rank someone. So and then after that I have started to now I keep up with more with Moz, and there are some forum of digital marketing experts that I keep up with. But in terms of big guys that I started with following were obviously Seth Godin and then later on Matt Cutts.
Okay, so what kind of fun things do you guys do in the office to kind of to spur creativity and keep things lively and fun?
We are always challenging ourselves to for improvement, and I'm always encouraging people to do experimentation in the office, because marketing is in a funny way, marketing can never be perfect because you can always be improved. So I just so we are of course we do some fun stuff and do party and we post it on our social media and all those things. So those are very typical thing that every company does. We do that. We'll celebrate birthdays and parties and all. But one thing that I think that it keeps my team always motivated is I encourage them to be creative. I encourage them to think, and I really encourage them to bring ideas, because I know that I don't have monopoly over good ideas. So I need everyone's collective, brain there, for improving. So yeah, I mean, just by keeping the environment light and listening to, it's not unusual for me. Almost every day, someone walks into my office and suggests something, or I also have, remote office with a lot of employees. Every day I get 1-2 emails with suggestions. So I try to keep them very motivated, excited about what they're doing.
All right. What's your favorite book? Can be any type of book. What's your favorite book?
I have bunch of favorite books, I would say, but I'm always reading something. So, now the one book that I have read 5 times already is a book by Jim Collins called Good to Great. So I think that I bought it 5 years back, and once a year I read it. Some other book for entrepreneurs, if your audience has entrepreneurs, is 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Is very interesting. Of course, I already mentioned Shoe Dog, but one book that I suggest everyone read, no matter whether you are entrepreneur, your employee, whatever, you are husband, housewife, house husband, whatever. I don't even care. So long you're a person. There's a book called Mindset, and the name, the author is totally slipped. So when I read this book,
is that the one by Carol Dweck?
Yes. And actually, when I read this book, it affected me so much that I went and I bought 10 more books to send to give it to some of my most favorite people and say, you know what, this is the book. So this, which I cannot think of any other book that I did that. I did buy books for I have 2 sons. So of course I bought Think and Grow Rich and gave both of them one, once they were in college and all that. But this is one book that I purchased 10 of those, and I tell that everyone should read it. Have you read that, since you know about the author?
Think and Grow Rich or Mindset?
No, the Mindset.
I had a copy of it years ago because I bought a copy. Someone recommended it to me, and then we had like a house fire and we lost everything, and so I completely forgot about the book until you just mentioned it again. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that book.
Yeah,
it just kind of
is a fantastic book, and yeah. I don't even know when it was published. I saw it mentioned in some.
It's a pretty old book. It's a pretty old book. It's probably around 2000, 2001.
It must be, because a lot of the examples of John McEnroe and all who were in the 80s. I mean, today the problem that I have with that book is when I give it to young people, many of them don't even know those examples. I mean, unless you are really into tennis, I don't know how many people know John McEnroe anymore.
But I don't think many.
Yeah, but exactly. But so yeah, it must be that someone must have written it a long time back. But I saw it mentioned in 10 books everyone should read kind of some list. And I was just intrigued, and I got one from Amazon, and I was just, it moved me so much that, like I said, I went and I purchased 10 of them.
Wow. Now, last question before you wrap up is, what is something you like to do for fun?
I like to travel personally. So that is the fun part. And this is the reason I have always tried to build my team so that it can operate without me. Now, of course, I don't go out for 3 months or 6 months, but I do take 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, 2 weeks vacation I take very often. I'm out of office for 3 weeks, quite frequently, a few times a year. And, everything works like clockwork. So that's where I'm really fortunate with the kind of people that I've attracted in my company right now. And then, so, traveling is my, one big thing, that fun. And then, I always say I like golf, but I watch more than I play. So, I'm a horrible golfer, but I love to watch. And I really like that, the whole environment of golf. When you seems like you are in the middle of the, like bustling city, and all of a sudden looks like you are, you're totally on your own in the middle of nowhere. So that's that's the thing I really like about golf.
Awesome. Well, AJ, it's been great speaking with you today. Can you let our audience know how they can reach you?
Sure. So, they can always visit my website, which is gmrwebteam.com. And they can also reach me by email. It is ajay@gmrwebteam.com. But I will just warn someone, if you are reaching me through my email, then it may take a couple of days, because I get somewhere around like a couple of thousand emails every day. So I try my best to respond to everyone, but on the subject line, please write, the show, so that I know that what it is all about. Because I also get, obviously, when out of 2,000, my guess is that at least 1,800 is junk mail. So I don't want to delete someone's email thinking it's junk.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Chris. It was really good talking to you.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, author. Chris here. I want to tell you about a program that I'm really excited about called Group Gold. For a long time, I would post on my Facebook fan page only to find crickets. Very few interactions, very few connections. That is before I discovered Facebook groups through the program Group Gold. Facebook Group Gold program is the most complete one of its kind to help you grow, engage, and monetize your Facebook group. Mark Mawhinney, the program creator, will walk you through every aspect of how to create, manage, and run your Facebook group so that your tribe is coming to you. It makes it easier, doesn't it? When you've got people interacting with you because they want to be there. That's the beauty of Facebook groups over Facebook fan pages. Ever since I started the Facebook Group Gold program, I've been growing my group, building my audience, and I've got people in there who are active and who want to be there, hanging out with me every single day. You can have that too. Just visit my website, www.readyrightlaunch.com, and under the offer tab, select Group Gold. Then you can see for yourself the magic of Facebook groups.